Madam,
Mr. Fry,
ready to take the air? Devil's Acre should just be coming alive.
I'm afraid I must cancel our engagement. The lawn is crawling with scandal-hunting journalists, and I simply cannot be seen in the company of someone so...
I'll see them off. You follow along when it's clear.
Yes, yes. Be gentle, won't you? The press are notoriously touchy about any violence to their person.
Ha 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 ha. I'll barely ruffle a hair on their heads.
Shh, Desmond.
Stark reporters with the nearby paper girl.
That's yours, if you can get those chaps over there to follow me.
Right you are, sir. Blimey! Look! It's Squire Bancroft!
Best lead them astray before they tear me to shreds.
What's coming up next with the Prince of Wales?
Will you be performing Mr. Robertson's new work?
Who will you be playing?
Any comment on the notices for the play?
Easy peasy. Oh, sorry, sir.
Neatly done, young man. Dizzy ought to keep you on to deal with the Liberals. Now,
I apologize if this is a rough ride, Mrs. Disraeli. I have a job to do.
Prime Minister's wife.
I really must not be seen here, Mr. Fry.
Okay.
Let us avoid these vultures.
You got it.
Steady on. Whoa there! That's a girl. Slow down. Let's go.
What a rough place. Give me your arm, Mr. Fry. Let us see what the Devil's Acre has to offer.
Okay. Mrs. Disraeli's dog.
Is your dog quite all right?
Oh, Desmond's fine. He's just not over fond of strangers. Or cats.
Come on. Over the fence. Good boy, Desmond.
Do you know this gentleman is a... Oh, what was it? Yes, a costermonger, of all things. Remarkable how the working classes occupy themselves, isn't it?
Very industrious, I'm sure. Shall we go?
And so the vicar says, your pardon, Bishop, I thought that was the Eucharist.
Shoot! I might have to kill some people.
What a rough place. Give me your arm, Mr. Fry. Let us see what the Devil's Acre has to offer.
Is your dog quite all right?
Oh, Desmond's fine. He's just not over fond of strangers. Or cats.
Oh, come on, no! Oh. I did so well the first time. Edward Kenway, an influential assassin. How influential, doesn't say.
What a rough place. Give me your arm, Mr. Fry. Let us see what the Devil's Acre has to offer.
Is your dog quite all right?
Oh, Desmond's fine. He's just not over fond of strangers. Or cats.
Turn around, buddy. Please. You're not going to turn around, are you? on!
Do you know?
Cal, dang it!
What a rough place. Give me your arm, Mr. Fry. Let us see what the Devil's Acre has to offer.
Is your dog quite all right?
Oh, Desmond's fine. He's just not over fond of strangers. Or cats.
Get him. There we go. Nope. It's okay, Desmond. Good boy.
Do you know this gentleman is a... Oh, what was it? Yes, a costermonger, of all things. Remarkable how the working classes occupy themselves, isn't it?
Very industrious, I'm sure. Shall we go?
And so the vicar says, your pardon, Bishop, I thought that was the Eucharist.
I'll bet he's
I'm so sorry. I have no earthly idea what you're talking about.
Mrs. Disraeli?
I want to play too.
Much of a hiding spot if we can see him.
Please don't turn around. No. God dang it.
What a rough place. Give me your arm, Mr. Fry. Let us see what the Devil's Acre has to offer.
Is your dog quite all right?
Oh, Desmond's fine. He's just not over fond of strangers. Or Do you know this gentleman is a... what is it? Yes, a costermonger, of all things. Remarkable how the working classes occupy themselves, isn't it?
Very industrious, I'm sure. Shall we go?
So the vicar says, your pardon, Bishop. I thought that was the Eucharist.
I'm so sorry.
Mrs. Disraeli.
I wonder what he's up to.
What an odd thing to do for a grown man.
Who did this? Someone's been killed.
No more hangovers for you, my friend.
Murdered.
Think we're good now.
What am I still here for? I should let the coppers take care of this. Even this poor soul here just ain't right.
Oh, Mr. Fry, look at those two.
Yes, they seem to be,
I've been married twice, Mr. Fry. I'm fully aware of what they're doing. God bless them.
Don't turn around, don't you...
What sort of meat is that man selling?
best not to ask.
Why? Is it something dreadful? Is it rat?
I don't mean to be indelicate, given the present company, but another name for it is Bow Wow Mutton. Here we are, the old one-ton pub. Best beer in the Devil's Acre.
Marvelous! Do you suppose we'll see a brawl?
Why don't you have a seat, and I'll fetch you a drink.
So this is a pint, is it? Remarkable.
Nice doggy.
Good boy, Desmond. Hand over the mutt.
You'll change your tune when me and my friends find you.
Now then, Desmond, to get you back to your mistress, whom I've just left entirely unattended in one of London's most dangerous pubs.
Well, if you never told your father how you felt about him, how was he supposed to know?
I never thought of it that way. I suppose deep down we all just want to be loved.
Just so. Here, have a sweetie. Oh, Desmond and Mr. Fry, I'd like you to meet... Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
John the Tosser.
Charmed. I think we better get you home.
Right you are, Mr. Fry. Come along, Desmond.
Well, well, well. If it isn't the dog walker.
Now, let's not do something we'll regret.
Too late.
Leaving at one pace! Don't pull any punches!
That's the way.
Well, I must thank you for a most energetic and enlightening evening, Mr. Fry.
No, thank you, madam. Perhaps now you might tell me about the man in the hussar's uniform.
Quite right. Lord Cardigan is the gentleman you seek. Tiresome man. Always blathering on about his military adventures.
Do you know where I might find him for a private conversation?
I do indeed. He's in town now, as it happens, campaigning against the Corrupt Practices Bill. Perhaps you could catch him in the Palace of Westminster. Oh, do be careful. The government
Steady
can
on.
ill afford another scandal.
I assure you, I'll be very discreet. Keep moving. Hold on, go. Doing fine, good. Let's go. That's the way. That's a girl.
Yeah, there's a trophy for killing 5 destructibles with your carriage, though. Yeah.
Who's a good horse? You are. Keep moving. Your stop, madam.
My stop. How delightful. Thank you. Thank you for a splendid evening, Mr. Fry. I shall be sure to speak highly of you to Dizzy. Oh, yes.
Iron Death Gauntlet. Lord Cardigan, born October 16th, 1797, died March 28th, 1868. Lieutenant General James Thomas Brunel, 7th Earl of Cardigan, stands as a shining example of British aristocracy circa the first half of the 19th century, which is to say he was a pompous, blustery git who never met a failure he couldn't buy his way out of and liked to play at soldiers with very large guns and actual human lives, or as he might have called them, peasants. He grew up in Buckinghamshire in the lap of luxury, as his father inherited the earldom of Cardigan when young James was only 14. Despite being educated at some of the finest schools in England, he never earned a degree. I can't find any record of when he joined the Templars, presumably because when you're born this rich and connected, the doctor removes the silver spoon from your gob, slaps you on the arse, hands you a cross pate ring, and sends you on your way. In 1818, he became Member of Parliament for Marlborough, a small region of Wiltshire, regrettably lacking in grizzled, smoking cowboys, though if you're ever there, try a pint at Henry's at the Lamb. Ask for Jackie. This was convenient as his cousin owned the borough. Not that that stopped him from buggering off on a grand tour of Europe before taking a seat, mind. After all, one can hardly let little things like governance or responsibility get in the way of gadding about with Russian noblewomen. When he finally did take a seat, he was an unremarkable parliamentarian, and apparently an unpopular one. During a campaign in 1832, despite having spent some £20,000, or £1,660,000 in today's money, he was assaulted and badly beaten in a rally. I suppose that's what happens when you loudly and frequently use phrases like reformist nonsense and preserving the ancient rights of the nobility when winning the hearts and minds of the common folk. Having failed rather remarkably in politics, he turned his attention to the military. Spurred on by his youthful admiration of Wellington's cavalry at Waterloo, and I suspect a love of all the pretty horsies, he, and I swear I am not making this up, formed his own troop of horse to guard against reformist uprisings in Northamptonshire. When the Northern menace failed to emerge, he joined the Hussars, where over the course of a few years he brought his way up from a lieutenant's rank to lieutenant general in command of the 11th Hussars. Along the way, he accumulated a court-martial for reprehensible conduct, a dismissal from the army by King William himself, and a prosecution for illegal dueling, all of which he managed to have reversed or dismissed thanks to his family connections. When he was finally sent off to India to take command of his forces, he spent a year and a half meandering his way to the colony, only to arrive just in time for a bit of tiger shooting before the 11th Hussars, who had been stationed there for several years, to be recalled to England. Lord Cardigan, he inherited the earldom in 1837, traveled separately aboard a private yacht, because of course he did. If I didn't think he was such a tit, I'd love him. Despite a long and illustrious career of absolute faffery, Cardigan is most famous for leading the charge of the Light Brigade at the Battle of Balaclava, although initial rumors suggest that he absented himself from the battle altogether. It seems he did in fact lead the charge, and from the front no less. Whatever his faults, he certainly possessed the breed of personal courage that comes from the certainty that the world would never dare lay a hand on you. Mind you, he also apparently never bothered to look back to see that his men were being slaughtered, and upon realizing that the battle was lost, he retired to his private yacht for a champagne dinner. So it's not as though he was seized by the spirit of gallantry. After the war, Cardigan returned to England, where he spent his retirement vigorously campaigning against reform and for his own recognition as a hero of the Crimea. In his, very slight, defense, he did contribute a great deal of money to many veterans' charities, and toward the end of his life he campaigned in favor of the Reform Act of 1867. But since that law served chiefly to bring the House of Commons under the dominance of the upper classes, that strikes me more as Templar machinations than any sort of change of heart. But at least from him we get the cardigan sweater beloved of hipsters and children's TV presenters the world over. The Iron Death Gauntlet is a cold, unfeeling gray, but on the plus side, it goes with everything, including death. Catherine Gladstone. Born January 6, 1812, died June 14, 1900. Sitting beside her husband, Catherine Gladstone's life was not quite as public. Her father having died when she was only 3, Catherine and her siblings, Mary and Stephen, were raised by their mother. Catherine and Mary grew to be extremely close, getting married on the same day at the same venue, and Catherine acting like a mother to her children when Mary passed away in 1857. Catherine met William Erhard Gladstone through her brother in 1834, and the two great people, as Mary had called the couple, married in 1839. The couple were together for 59 years before Gladstone's death in 1898, and had 8 children together. Though notoriously untidy, Catherine was a brilliant woman who devoted her life to improving the lives of others. Well, that's nice to hear.
Someone help! Stop that thief! Someone help me! Please! The devil ran
Got him.
I'll gut you like a fish.
Let's go get some helix glyphs.